I'd like to start off by thanking the Positively Charged Toastmasters for inviting me to speak today, but I'm not too sure you're going to like what I have to say. That's because I'm a bit of a bad news bear these days. So let me start off with a question. How many of you like politicians? I bet not too many. Well, it could be bad news for me, seeing how I'm running for Pennsylvania governor on the Libertarian ticket, except for one thing. I'm not a politician. You can't call me a politician because I haven't broken a promise yet. But once I do break a promise, then you can call me a politician. I promise. Politicians sure have a bad name these days, and deservedly so. I mean, just who do they think they are? It seems they don't care about you or me. They only care about themselves and their cronies. To quote my Uncle George, it's like they're all in one big club and you and I ain't in it. And if you try and challenge them, good luck. For regular people like you and me, they stacked all the cards against us and they superglued them there. You think I'm exaggerating? Just look at our legislative branch. Their grand scheme to keep you out, it's working. The latest numbers speak for themselves. In the upcoming election, 203 state House seats and 25 state Senate seats are up for grabs. But 123 of them, more than half, have only one person running. You got that? More than half the races this year have no competition. What is this, some sort of communist country? Worse yet, all but two of those unopposed candidates, almost 99% of them, are the incumbents. That means they are already in that club. And not only have they passed laws to stack the deck to make sure that they have no competition, they've gerrymandered their districts to make sure it stays that way. Who do they think they are? Our legislative branch, that's who. Do you think that's bad? What about the judicial branch? That one's even more of an exclusive club. They call their club the Pennsylvania Bar Association. And no, they're not a drinking club. The Bar Association literally owns our justice system, lock, stock, and gavel. They've taken justice completely away from us ordinary people. Did you know that the Bar Association is a private corporation with its own strict membership rules? And if you're not a member, you are not allowed to practice law or give legal advice, not allowed to represent others or a corporation, not allowed to prepare legal documents. You're not allowed to do a whole host of things. And what happens if you do try to do any of those things? You can be fined, put on probation, thrown in jail, just for having the temerity to touch their monopoly. And worst of all, they've even written their club into the Pennsylvania Constitution. The Bar Association appears in no fewer than 21 different places. They've superglued their exclusive club into our Constitution and made themselves a monopoly. Well, you know what happens with monopolies? Prices shoot through the roof. Suddenly you're paying hundreds of dollars an hour for access to our mumbo-jumbo courts. Hundreds of dollars an hour to get, quote-unquote, justice. And there's nothing you can do about it except pay up. Face it, the legislative and judicial branches are lost to us. The legislature isn't going to change their laws. And the Bar Association certainly isn't going to change the Constitution. That leaves us just one hope, the executive branch, led by the governor. But that's a false hope, because guess what? Our governor, Joshing Shapiro, is also in the club. Not only does he rule over the executive branch, he's also a member of the judicial branch. He's a member of the Bar Association. Yep, he's a member of two branches of government at once. So much for the separation of powers. And before he was governor, Joshing Shapiro was part of the legislative branch as a state rep. As my state rep, I must add. And when he was my state rep, the man lied to me, and in writing no less. He said he would support an elections reform bill to make it easier for independents to run for office. But when it came time for the vote, can you guess what he did? Yep, he voted against it. That's why I call him Joshing Shapiro. His promises are worth zilch. Who does he think he is? He obviously doesn't want the competition, doesn't want you or me in his club. He doesn't care about you or me. They don't care about you or me. All of it. All our government is in the hands of those foxy politicians, a bunch of foxes guarding our political henhouse. Uncle George is right. They're all in one big club, and they've made damn sure that you and I can't get into it. Why? Why do you think they've dug such a deep moat around their club? Why? Well, to rob us blind, of course, to give our tax dollars to themselves and to their cronies and special interests. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Look no further than the primary election that was held a few months ago. Well-meaning voters participate in the primaries all the time, except no clearer example of corruption can be found. When it comes to the politicians who staged it, it's clear. Just ask yourself, who does the primary election benefit? Well, if you're a candidate in one of the two old parties, one of the members of their club, then it benefits you. That's because the taxpayers of Pennsylvania are paying for your election. But hang on a second. Most Pennsylvania voters aren't Democrat or Republican, and well over 1 million voters aren't members of either of those two old parties. Yet those same two old parties are milking us all for millions and millions of dollars, year after year after year. Why? Why such blatant corruption? Why don't the two old parties pay for their own beauty contest, like we Libertarians do, like the Greens do, like even the Communists do? Why? Because we let them get away with it. That's why. And it's not just their vanity we're paying for. What about the hundreds of millions of dollars that Pennsylvania gives every year to horse racing, of all things? Why do so much of our turnpike tolls not go to the turnpike? They don't care about you. They only want your money so they can glad-hand it among their cronies and the special interests. Folks, pardon my French, but that's bullshit. Staging communist elections with only one candidate? Holding a monopoly over the entire court system? And a governor who violates separation of powers and whose promises are worth zilch? There's only one way to describe these travesties. Bullshit, bullshit, and more bullshit. So what do? Give up? Leave the state? Leave the country? Leave the planet? Fortunately, there is an option, and only one option, one that they haven't taken away from us, at least not yet. And that one option is the governorship of Pennsylvania. That is why I'm here today. I'm here to throw down the gauntlet. I'm here to say enough is enough. I'm here to say that the corruption ends now. I'm here to say I'm running for governor of Pennsylvania to erase all their bullshit. But how can one libertarian erase such entrenched corruption? Easily. Because the Pennsylvania Constitution gives the governor one very powerful weapon. It can be used to stop the bullshit dead in its tracks. That power is called the line item veto. The way it works is that as governor, I can use the line item veto to cross out anything at all in any bill that reaches my desk. So I'm going to use the line item veto to erase the corruption, erase the thievery, erase all their bullshit. And I, for one, cannot wait to use that eraser. Can you imagine it? Funding for the primary elections, gone. Let them pay for it themselves. Tax increases, gone. We're already overtaxed. Those Nazi DUI checkpoints, gone. There are much cheaper and more effective solutions. All these and much, much more, gone, gone, gone. No more gravy train, no more corruption, no more bullshit. Oh yeah, they could try to override my views in their communist legislature or rule against my efforts in their monopoly courts. But that will force them to come out in the open and reveal themselves for the arrogant profiteers that they truly are. And we can stop them, and we will stop them. But wait, there's even more, because there are many other things I can do to help make Pennsylvania a better place to live. Whether it's reforming education, elections, welfare, prison, property taxes, eminent domain, or finally settling the abortion debate, all we need to do is elect a libertarian governor. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, come on, Ken. You'll never get elected. But wait, I can get elected. That's because the two old parties have alienated so many voters that only about half the registered voters are going to bother to vote for governor. And if you do the math, that means in a competitive three-way race, all we need to do is attract the vote of 1 out of 6 voting-age Pennsylvanians. 1 out of 6, and we're done with their tricks. 1 out of 6 to erase all their bullshit. But if we're going to reach that 1 out of 6, I'm going to need your help. So please visit my website, kenkforpa.com. Maybe sign up to be a volunteer. And please spread the word that 1 out of 6 can stop their tricks. But most importantly, please vote for me, Ken Krawchuk. Libertarian for Pennsylvania governor. Because if people keep voting the way they've been voting, they're going to keep on getting just what they've been getting. And I don't know about you, but I have had enough. Mr. Toastmaster.